and welcome back to my channel. Unless you're new here, and then just welcome. My name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror. And welcome to another Shark Fest entry. We're going to go back to a little more better than mediocre, and that is Great White. Now, Great White was released in 2021. Nice little slipcase. This is better than The Reef Stalked, but it was released in 2021. It was directed and by Martin Wilson and written by Michael Boughen, starring Katrina Bowden, Aaron Jakubenko, and Kimie Tsukakoshi. Kimie Tsukakoshi? So yes. Now, like I said, when I decided how I was going to stagger these entries, I was going to do mediocre, awesome, mediocre, awesome. This is better. This is a lot better, actually, than The Reef Stalked. So I would say this is high mediocre. You know, what was the difference? I gave this like a 6.8, 6.9, whereas The Reef Stalked only got a 6.2. It is storming wildly here. Of course, you're not going to know when the power goes out because this video will be redone, but I will certainly will. So I'm a little ill right now. I mean, why when I start filming? You know what I'm talking about. Why? So anyway, Great White was released in 2021. So this movie opens with a really nice lagoon, and we see a couple, a guy and a girl, they have a little small yacht. They're swimming and having a good time when the girl thinks that she sees something, and of course she does. It's a very, very large shark, and it ends up killing the guy. She manages to get back on the boat right before he gets eaten, and the shark hits the boat, and the mast swings around and hits her in the head, and she falls in, and that's that. We don't really know what happens to her other than she's laying there. I just assume she drowned or something. And then we are introduced to our two main characters. Well, there's five, but yeah, the two main ones, and that is Charlie and Kaz. They are a couple that are about to get married. He is an ex-marine biologist. And she is... What the hell is she? He is a former shark attack victim. He is an ex-marine biologist. I don't know what she was. I know she keeps the books and helps him with his business, and now they have a seaplane tour business. So they have one solo seaplane, and they're kind of worried about, keeping it afloat, no pun intended, when they get a phone call scheduling a trip. And so they're very, very happy. They're going to schedule this trip out to Hell's Reef. So they agree to it. They meet the couple the next day. It's Joji and Michelle. They, of course, have their guy, Ben, who is like their only other employee. So they're going to go on this trip to Hell's Reef, which is a private atoll, it's actually kind of like a national park. So he's going to fly them out there. On the way, we learn a little bit more about his shark attack, that he survived, and we see a scar and everything, where he almost got his leg bit off. And we also learned that she's very aware of this place. It turns out that back in World War II, I guess, her grandfather was a lone survivor of a ship that had wrecked on this atoll, and she had come back to deposit his ashes because he wanted to be with his shipmates. So she had convinced her husband, who is a total dick. In other words, he definitely don't want to be doing this. So she convinced him to go, and that's the whole purpose of their visit, is to chill out on the island for the day and deposit her grandfather's ashes. Now, while they are there, though, scream, and it turns out that that dude who had his legs eaten off, from the lagoon, I guess he crawled up on the beach, like, right before he died. And so he's, like, decomposed body is, like, laying there up against a tree, which makes you know he crawled up there. They find his phone, and they're like, we need to call someone. So they do call and advise the Coast Guard or whatever their civil service is that there's a body out there, and they take the phone. Now, he sees on the phone, because she uses his fingerprint to open the phone, and he can see the pictures that they took right before that attack. So they are aware that there is a boat and there is a girl, and all there is his body, and he looks like he's been there for 2 weeks, So he's not like completely decomposed. His fingerprint still worked on the phone, which is kind of gross. But, so they're like, well, we need to go. And he's like, yeah, but first I'm going to try to find the boat, right? There was a boat here. Where's the boat? And where's the girl that was here? So they go looking, and they do find it, like, overturned, and they land the plane. And he gets out, and he's going to go under there and look for maybe the girl was on the boat. It's capsized. But, Kaz is like, no, you're not. Because if something happens to you, who's going to fly this damn plane? Duh. So Ben agrees to go. And it's a pretty cool scene when he's up under there inside the overturned yacht. He does find her. She floats by him. And he turns around, and that is an ugly sight because she didn't drown. She, like, half of her face is eaten off. Half of her body is taken out in big chunks. So he actually screams, and he gets out and gets back on the plane. And they're about to take off when that very shark attacks the plane, rips it, it's sinking. They have just enough time to get a raft out. Is that on the... Oh, you can. Well, yeah, you can. You can see it, that raft. So they have enough time to get the raft out and inflate it, and they get on the raft. So you have these 5 people on this raft. Well, what's going to happen? Well, I think I got a mayday out, but I'm not sure. Well, how far are we from shore? Well, we're like 150 kilometers. So that's a long way. Well, what can we do? Well, the current is heading us in the right way. Well, why can't we go back to Hell's Reef? Because the current's going the wrong way, and we can sit and fight the current trying to paddle, but it ain't going to work because it's just going to exhaust us, and we're not going to do it anyway. We got to go this way, and if we follow the current will take us back home. Although that could be several days. So they're paddling, and they're trying to help speed up the process. And we, of course, get a lot more interpersonal stuff going on. You really start realizing what an asshole Joji is. He's worried about, I'm not going to go into great detail about my feelings on what is about to occur, but he thinks that Ben is like looking at him, and they've kind of been like touchy-touchy the whole time. He thinks that Ben is looking at his wife, and he stands up and that macho shit. I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm in that kind of situation and a couple of dudes start doing that kind of shit, I'm going to throw both their ass in the water. I'm like, you are not going to get me eaten by a shark over your testosterone hetero bullshit. I'm sorry, but you're just not going to do it. He's looking at my wife. Oh, really? Is that reason to push him in the water and start fighting and making us overturn or something? No. Okay. You leave your testosterone. Do you realize what situation you're in right now? Really? What is he going to do with your wife? Are they going to engage in an affair and screw right here in front of all of us? Exactly what is your problem? What could possibly take place with him looking at your wife? It's just disturbingly stupid. Not that. I mean, that happens in real life, and it's disturbingly stupid in real life. So they do end up fighting, and he pushes him in the water, and right as he gets back in the boat, that shark attacks and eats his ass and everything else. And so you're like, well, don't you feel like an asshole now? You pushed him out of the boat for looking at your wife, even though we're in an 8-foot round raft. Let's not rehash it. So, that was pretty fucked up. Now, they continue to go. Of course, they're horrified, especially Charlie and Kaz, because that's their friend, right, who's helped them build this business. And this dick just got them killed. How they didn't push him on in there, I don't know. I guess they didn't want to do it in front of Michelle or something. You know, I hate to have to kill your husband, but he just killed our best friend. No, well, we're rehashing again, aren't we? So, they realize that this shark is doing kind of what the reef stalked was doing. You know, it's fucking with them. It's intelligent. It's playing with them. It's playing games with them. It keeps turning over the raft and knocking them all out of it, and then I guess laughing at them underwater as they try to get back into the boat. So it's a lot of near misses and stuff like that. Then it does it one time though, and Karma comes home, because that attack made me jump pretty intensely. But that Joji guy, he got his comeuppance because that shark attacked him, and it was a pretty neat attack scene too. The way the shark jumped out the water and come down on him, it was pretty cool. And so that was screaming, horrible screaming. And then what was interesting is just about the time that everybody calmed down, of course they're all screaming and shocked, and his wife is freaking out. But about the time the level went down and you've pretty much come to the term, well, goodbye to him, he actually pops up in the water. And is you can tell he's bleeding bad, probably bitten near in half or something. And he's help me. And they start trying to paddle the boat towards him. And then the shark, takes care of him, takes care of the leftovers, so to speak. And so this keeps going for quite a while. They keep coming up with plots and plans and what are they going to do. He does find a big giant Bowie knife, and he makes a harpoon by fastening to the end of a paddle. And it's he's a shark expert, and he's they have this little bitty brain that's right here in their head. If I can just get that brain, the problem will be solved. So they go on, they keep on, they finally, after 2 nights or something of torment from this shark. Now, during one of the aerial shots, you get to know something that they do not. And that is that there isn't just one, there's 2. And these are huge sharks, because you can see them both kind of watching the boat, the raft. And they are huge. The Benny guy, who was another shark expert, he said that they were at least 5 meters long. Now, if you don't know what 5 meters is, it's 16.4 feet. So basically that's 2.5 times taller than me. You know what I'm saying? That's a big shark. There were big sharks. So after all of this action takes place, they do finally wake up. Michelle's the one that first sees it, and they are pretty close to the shore. They've been taken by the current to this island, so they are pretty close to the shore. And the shark is coming, though. Now, there's a big wreck, like a shipwreck, like an ironclad, you know what I mean, between them and the beach. So they're like, well, here's what we're going to do. We are going to fight them, which I thought was a little silly. Especially, well, I did have inside information. I knew there was two, whereas they only thought there was one. So they came up with this plot, you know, you take because the girl's not going to let him do it himself. And so it's like, we're going to do this together. So she gets the flare gun, and he gets his little harpoon knife. And he's like, we're going to protect our client, which, you know, at least they're doing right by their customer. It's like, we're going to go fight the shark, and you swim your ass to the beach while we distract the shark and try to kill it. So we get a pretty cool underwater, a decently cool underwater fight between them and the shark. And between the flare gun, I think she shoots the shark with the flare gun in the mouth, and then he ends up getting on top of it, and he's like, Friday the 13th part 3, you know, Friday the 13th part 3. He's like that head with that knife, and they do end up killing that one. It's at this time they get that little bit of inside information that we all knew, and that is that there was another one. And this time, he like tries to attack it itself, and it tears him up and right in front of her, and like goes on about its business. So now Michelle, she has reached that ironclad wrecked ship, and that's when you see that the shark is still there, and it comes after her. And so it's like jumping up, and it tries to get her, but she's out of reach. And then Kaz now knows that that's there too. So she comes, and once again, she does the same thing. She's like, I'm going to go down and fight it, distract it, and you get to shore. So you have to admire their business practices. They really are trying to like save this girl, their customer. So talk about customer service, right? Like, we will get eat for you. So she goes down there, and there's another cool little trap the shark underneath in all of the boat wreckage, and it's positioned in a part where she can like drop this thing on its head. She almost drowns. Now you expect that Michelle's at shore, right? But no, she actually can't get, the shark is in the way, and she can't get to the little air tank. So Michelle shows up behind her though, and like breathes air into her mouth, and that brings her back enough to continue the fight. She gets the air thing, and she manages to kick it all until one of the beams from the iron beams from the ship comes down and skewers the shark. And you're like, yeah, that was decent, pretty good action. It was a little on the unbelievable side, you know what I'm saying? But hey, it's a movie. It's called suspension of disbelief for a reason. So, her and Michelle get out alive, and the shark is dead, and that's how that movie ends. So like I said, I gave it a 6.8 out of 10, 6.9. Well, I talked mostly just about the action and the kills. So you're probably like going, well, how come it doesn't score higher? I didn't hear you say anything. Well, I will. Okay. I cut out all of the interpersonal romantic bullshit between Charlie and her, and she just found out she's pregnant, and are they going to get, they're going to get married when this trip is over, when they take these customers back, and am I going to be a good mom? And then, of course, there was a bunch of interpersonal shit about how how did you meet your husband, and how did you meet Charlie, and blah, blah, blah. So once again, the action was really good. The sharks looked good. Like I said a few times, it was like way on the unbelievable side. But once again, we have the exact same problem with the reef stalk, and that is that why are you putting all of this googly eyes, romantic talk in a shark movie? Did you see any of that in Jaws? Sheriff Brody had a wife. Yeah, he had a wife. He had kids. It's surface level. Did you see them sitting at home discussing future plans and moaning about who doesn't like whose step-in-laws? No, because it's not a drama. It's not a Lifetime movie drama. These are shark movies. They are action movies. Shark movie equal action, equal horror, equals slasher. Blood, guts, attack, survival. These are survival movies, slasher movies, horror movies. Why? And this is the exact same, like I told you before, this is the exact thing I've heard about Black Demon. I don't know what has went around the movie industry and their inner circles, because that's what I think has to go on, because if you'll notice, all of these subgenres come out. Like, all of a sudden, there's a bunch of vampire movies. Then you don't see any for 5 years. Then all of a sudden, there's a bunch of werewolf movies. And then you don't see any for 5 years. And all of a sudden, there's a bunch of shark movies. So it's like, I don't know, this latest little round where y'all put out 6 or 7 shark movies across the industry. I don't know who got together at the boardroom and said, let's add, romance and relationship talk and all of this kind of stuff, because I don't know what movie you saw. But successful shark movies and fans of shark movies, I can't tell you any. Okay, there's none of that in Deep Blue Sea 1, 2, or 3. Whatever relationship, who's married to who's dating who, little sex jokes, whatever, even little sex scenes or whatever, it's all very surface level, and it's very minimal in the movie itself, in the overall arc of the movie. And yet, in The Reef Stalk, there was just a bunch of fucking drama talk. And in Great White, there was just way too much. There wasn't as much. And there was a lot more action to counterbalance it. That's why Great White is a lot better than The Reef Stalk. But both of them suffer from the same thing, and it's like, I don't care. Kill the shark. Okay, I don't care why y'all haven't gotten married yet, and whether who's going to be a good mom and who's going to be a good dad. I don't give a fuck. I want to see the shark eat you. No, I don't really want to see him eat you. But yeah, I kind of do. Especially with you talking all of that shit. We don't care about that. We're here to see a shark movie. Okay? We're not here to see, Victoria Principal in the latest, Lifetime Movie Network show. I love Victoria, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying. If I want to see Victoria Principal in a Lifetime Movie Network, I will go watch that. I won't go and hope to find that in a shark movie. So I would appreciate it if, when the next round of shark movies comes out, you people will just go watch Deep Blue Sea 1, 2, and 3. Go watch Open Water 1, 2, and 3. I love all 6 of those movies. Go watch Bait, the cool-ass Australian shark movie. Go watch Shark Bait, one of the best shark movies released in the last 10 years. Go watch Jaws. Just don't watch Jaws the Revenge. But go watch Jaws. Go watch, good shit. Do it like that. Because I don't understand. Oh, go watch Shark Night. That is so fun. That's what I'm saying. Fun, action, blood, gore, kill, run from the shark. That's what shark movies are. It's not a couple of people talking about how they met their boyfriends and how they met their girlfriend and who's going to be a mother and why have you not had a child yet. I'm just not ready. And I'm like sitting there going, where's the shark? So yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's got some cool stuff in it. It's just very mediocre, and you're doing sharks all wrong. I will tell you one thing though: when the credits rolled, this song started playing, and it took about like 30 seconds because I'm like sitting there summing up my thoughts about the movie, and I'm like, yeah, well, that's all right. 6.8. It was better than the other one. Had a lot more action than the other one. Some pretty cool scenes. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, what the fuck is that song? And I started noticing that song. It's a song called Panic. And I went immediately, like after I got the disc out, I like watched to the end of the credits, right? I'm like, where is the music? Who sings that song? What is that song? And I went and found it on YouTube. It's called Panic. It was released 5 years ago. I can't think of her name. But that song is badass. That song is like a banger. And it was funny when I went and looked and found the video for it. All the comments, were like, Great White brought me here. It was like, Great White brought me here. Heard this song in Great White, had to come find it. And I added mine to it. I was like, dude, I just watched Great White. I've heard your song. It's like, this fucker is banger. You know what I mean? I really like that song. But, so hey, it was worth it for that. But I added it to my Grunge Fest playlist. So it should be the last song on the Grunge List playlist, Grunge Fest playlist, if you want to go find it. Or the easiest way to find it. Because I can't think of her name. But if you go to my playlists and you go to Grunge Fest, it was the last song added, or the newest song added. So, I just love that song. And the movie's alright. It says it's from the producers of 47 Meters Down. What happened, dude? I didn't hear any fucking relationship talk in 47 Meters Down. But yeah. That's the only flaw, and it's the only flaw with the reef stock, to be honest. I mean, the shark was cool. The attacks, what little there was cool. Same with this. The attacks are cool. The shark's cool. The situation's cool. The cast is fine. Everything is fine. It's just like you put way too much talky. It's just jabbery shit. Talking about stuff unshark related in a shark movie. And I just don't see it's necessary. So, yeah. It's still worth having. I liked it. I'm glad I've got it. It's believe me, those two are the best out of what's been offered in the last 5 years, except for No Way Up, which is phenomenal. That's the one you need to get. But these two can go in your collection too if you're a shark fan. They are good. They're just got too much talking in it, and not enough sharking. Too much talking, not enough sharking. You know what I'm saying? But I will be back with another awesome. And I will see you then. The storm is going away, I think, and the power didn't go off. I made it. Let's see if it'll continue this streak. Bye-bye. Always remember, never forget, you're a very special person. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Bye.